Hey everyone, this is Mike,
Hey, and this is Josh.
and we are Must See Before You Die.
Yes, we are.
What are we going to look at today, Josh?
So the today's movie is the 2013 remake, reboot, whatever you call it, Evil Dead, and this movie is rated R. Um, and I'm just gonna tell you off the bat. I saw this movie in the theater when it first came out.
Hmm.
Me and my friend were very excited about it because I really like the Evil Dead franchise. Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. We were excited for this, especially when we found out that Bruce Campbell was involved in it. He's not in the movie, but he was involved with it. I can't remember if Sam Raimi was or not, but um, yeah, we were just really hyped for this. The trailer was really good, in my opinion, and we were hyped for it. We went and seen it opening night, opening weekend. We were, like I said, we thought it was really good at the time. And going back and kind of watching it, all these years later, this is a 10-year anniversary, Mike. 10 years
Wow.
later, and they actually have a new Evil Dead movie coming out, Evil Dead Rise. So, kind of wanted to check this one out and see how it compares to the new one coming out here soon. Mike, do you have any history with this movie at all?
None, man. When we talked about doing a review of The Evil Dead, originally I was thinking of the original. I've seen the original a few times throughout the years. It's kind of a classic. And then you said, hey, there was a reboot on it back in 2013. I was like, I have not seen that one. So, um, yeah, I mean, I was excited to see it. And when this video comes out, it's going to be a week out. This video should come out on April 14th, maybe 7th, 14th. The week later is when the Evil Dead Rise comes out, and I'm hearing some really good things from Evil Dead
Yes.
Rise. So
Yeah.
it was good to go back and kind of check this one out, like the reboot on it.
Right. I don't think this connects to that other movie at all. I think that's a reboot, but this one definitely connects. Not not really in story much, but like it. I mean, story yes, but like I mean, it doesn't have any same characters, but it definitely connects to the original. It's like like I said, it is a reboot. So, um, yeah. What's the Rotten Tomatoes on this, Mike? Do you want to show
All
that real
right, so
quick?
yeah, let me throw that up here.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, we got
63.
a 63 and a 64.
I mean that's pretty solid, really. I think.
Yeah.
Not anything amazing, but definitely not a rotten movie by any means. And the effects and the practical effects in this movie are high.
And that picture right there of that demon possessed girl, that lady in here, which you're getting ready to go over the characters,
Yeah.
that it there was some scary. Me and my wife watched it.
Imagery.
Yeah, me and my wife watched this. Our son had already went to bed, and my wife is not really into a lot of horror movies. She likes thrillers, but she was like, "Man, that's gross. That is awful. That is scary looking." So
Yeah.
it has got some great effects in it.
Yes, it does. So the main characters of this movie is Mia. So I'll give some backstory. Mia is actually a drug addict, and she's here at this cabin. I know you have a synopsis to read, but I was just kind of explaining that she's here at this cabin with her family, her brother, and some of her friends, lifelong friends, to try to get clean and sober, do it cold turkey. She's addicted to heroin. And this movie actually hits home with me because my sister, she passed away, but she was addicted to heroin as well, and she passed from all that. So it kind of hits home for me when they're trying to get quit cold turkey and everything that you go through with an addict and all this in the movie, and it kind of plays into that um, with how she gets infected or gets possessed, and they think she's just having withdrawals and all this stuff, and that all plays in the movie, which I thought was pretty. I like that about the movie. I thought that was a smart way to
Mhm.
go about it because, of course, they're not going to believe her because she's going to do everything to try to get away to go get the drug because that's what happens with drug addicts. So
Right.
I like that about the movie. Let me read. The next character is David, who is the brother of Mia, who is kind of estranged. Wouldn't you think, Mike? Like he was a part of this friend group at one point in time, but he kind of like was estranged and didn't help Mia like with her mother. And he like when her mother was sick, and you kind of think this is why Mia went down a drug path because of the trauma with dealing with her mother being sick and mentally ill, and then the brother not being around and all this. And the friends kind of resent the brother because he wasn't around during these times. The next one is Olivia. She's actually a nurse, a registered nurse, so she knows how to care for someone trying to beat a drug habit and stuff. Then you have David's girlfriend, Natalie, I think they said she's a doctor. Isn't that what they said? She's going to doctor.
I couldn't pick up on that until you said she was RN. I forgot all about that too. You know me, I'm old.
Yeah, I thought they
stuff.
said something. Natalie was going to school to be a doctor because like the nurse and her kind of have a weird exchange or something at one point in time. Then you have a guy. His name's Eric. He's like I think he said he's a school teacher, and he's a friend of theirs, and he's really resentful of David. Like he thinks David's just a jerk, like because he wasn't around to help his sister. They've actually done this before. This takes place in Michigan, by the way. I'm pretty sure because the original ones did. And I think they said Flint because they said they tried to cure her.
She's wearing a Michigan State. She was wearing a Michigan State.
So I think they tried in Flint. They tried to do this, but David was nowhere to be found. Yeah, and he just became aware of that at the beginning. Like they told him, like she did this before. I'm going to tell you this is what happened last time. So do not let her leave under any means necessary. Basically. Right. And then you have a dog. They have a dog, and it's David's dog, and his name's Grandpa. Did you get that, Mike?
Yeah, I like that.
the dog's name's Grandpa.
Grumpy old man.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so those are the main characters. I thought the main characters were good. I think that some of them didn't get a lot of character building. Like Natalie didn't really. I mean, Olivia did some. I'd say the most characters that got the most building was Eric, Mia, and David, in my opinion. Those are the three characters that you kind of got the most out of. Yeah. And go ahead and read the synopsis, Mike.
So the storyline is 5 20-something friends become holed up in a remote cabin when they discover a book of the dead. They unwittingly summon up dormant demons living in the nearby woods, which possesses the youngsters in succession until only one is left intact to fight for survival.
Yeah.
And I want to come out and say this. The very first of this movie, man, it sucked me in. It was one of the better beginnings of a movie. We always talk about Scream, original Scream, having a great opening.
Yeah.
Still not quite to that level. But it was really good. You had this girl, you know, she's tied up to a pole. They chain her up to a pole. And then you got these other people speaking. And it's not like the lady's speaking Spanish, but they're speaking another language. And then this guy's involved with it. And she's like, all of a sudden she goes, "Dad, what are you doing?" And I was like, whoa.
Well, also you're kind of tricked because at the beginning she's running and hiding in the woods. Yeah. And these two guys that look like freaking hillbillies capture her. And you're like, oh, God, what's going to happen to her?
Yeah.
You know? But like you said, she says, "Dad," and you're like, "What?" And then she says something about Mom, and he goes, "You know what happened to Mom? Because you killed her." And you're like, "What?"
Yep.
And they have it wrapped up with barbed wire to that pole.
That's what it was. Yep. So, so what do you like, Josh, and dislike about this movie? What are your likes maybe first, then your dislikes?
Oh, I like the atmosphere. I love the cabin because the original one took place at the cabin. And the original one took place in Michigan. That's why I thought this one probably takes place in Michigan as well. But that's my home state, Michigan. So, but yeah, I like it a lot. I like the atmosphere, the woods, the special effects are great. The kills are crazy. The special effects are great. I thought the acting is pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like superb. Like the acting we just saw in The Last of Us or something, but it was pretty good. And yeah, now some of the dislikes is some of the characters just act stupid in my opinion. I mean, this guy, Eric, he's a teacher. He should know better. I know he's curious, but he opens up the Book of the Dead and starts like, even though people have scribbled over it.
Looks like they wrote it in blood. Do not say these words. And he starts saying them out loud.
Well, the Book of the Dead is bound in human flesh and inked in blood. The whole
Mhm.
book's inked in blood. So like, no, they've like scribbled it out with black marker and all this, or black crayon or whatever, and they made it so you can't read it. They wrote like, "Do not read this. Close the book." They wrote it all over this freaking thing. Guy still freaking reads it, and I'm like, "Are you kidding?" I know they needed a way to get there to unleash the demon. And I'm telling you, one of the freakier scenes, Mike, is when Mia is running through the woods and the vines get her. And then this demon shows up, and this thing comes out of her mouth, this vines, and it goes up into her womanly area, I'll say. And it's sick.
Anthony was watching it up to that point, and then after that, he goes, "Did that go where I think it went?" And I said, "Yep, Anthony, it sure did. That's how that demon got in her."
Yes.
So,
So,
yeah, I have to agree with you. The very opening scene, I enjoyed it, and then when the 20-something-year-olds kind of all get together at the cabin, something about that for about 5 minutes it just kind of like was bad acting in my opinion. It wasn't top of the line. Now,
okay.
once they got into the action part and inside the cabin and things started going, I thought the acting was pretty good overall. But
Yeah.
something about that just had a like, this is cheap or this is poor acting. But I don't know. Me and my wife both agreed on it. We were like, man, the acting's not the best. But then once they got inside and it really got rolling, I mean, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I do like the settings. It's set up just similar to the original with a cabin out in the middle of the wood. Then you got that well down in the bottom, and it's just got a really creepy vibe to it. Really good job. I thought the effects were awesome in it. I mean, if
Yeah.
you like blood, you're going to love this movie. One of the
Oh,
bloodiest movies I've seen,
yeah.
grossest movies I've seen. So if you're a diehard horror fan that's more on the horror and blood and guts and stuff like
And the
that,
gore.
yeah, you're gonna love this. If you're not into that stuff, don't probably want to watch it. Stick with Sixth Sense or something, or Silence of the Lambs,
Well,
or I don't know. But
there's a lot of bodily harm in this movie
yes,
because
yes,
because
ugh.
when you get possessed, the demon wants you to like make yourself like mangled. Like the one Olivia, who I really liked Olivia. She was always trying to help, and they gave me a sedative. Oh, so Olivia like was forced to like cut her like basically her face, trying to cut her face off with a piece of glass,
Yeah,
and
she's
it
got
was
a
sick.
big rip gash here.
And then she stabs Eric with a syringe in the eye. Oh God, that was horrible. Um, Mia is possessed in the shower and turns the heat all the way up, scolds her body,
Starts
and they think
melting.
that they think she did it to leave to go get drugs, like so she could get out of there. Well, and just like the original, the road is washed away by a bunch of water because it's raining so much. Oh yeah, in this movie, basically for 80% of it is constant rain. What do you say, Mike?
Yeah, sounds like
So
another horror classic.
yeah, so it's just constant rain. I'm just trying to think. Yeah. Well, we didn't mention at the beginning, they light that girl on fire and then blow her head apart like right away in the movie.
Yeah,
It was cool.
you knew they were trying to, because at the very end of it, the demon comes out and tells the dad, he says some pretty rough stuff like I'm raping your daughter in hell or so. I can't remember. It was either there or towards
Yeah.
the end that was said. It was pretty rough.
Yeah, there's some pretty graphic language in this.
Yeah.
For sure. So we mentioned that Mia and David's mother's dead, and Mia as a possessed demon, it uses that against David as well. And like you said, he says that's when the demon says they're raping your mother in hell or whatever. Yeah. Like, and David,
so you got to watch this movie at nighttime in the dark with all the lights out. If you want to get scared, you got to watch it late at night, not during the daytime. It does have some really scary, creepy, and gory things going on in it.
Man, when Mia's in that basement, Mike, oh God.
And she's in the basement and she's like, they lift it up, look at her, and she's got this wild look. And then when she cracks the lid up a little bit and says things to people, I mean, she's scary looking, man.
Yeah, dude, no doubt. They did a great job making her look. And those kind of like orangish yellow contacts she's got in are super creepy.
So
So,
Josh, tell us your the kill count and then maybe your favorite
oh,
kill.
well, this is what I got. So, Grandpa the dog does die. I don't know if we count that though. It's not a
Yeah,
person.
we got to count that, man.
Mia destroys him with a hammer, like totally annihilates the dog with a hammer. Then you have Olivia dies. You have Natalie. She dies by sawing her arm off with a turkey carver, and then she just nails her face with a nail gun a bunch, and then they
She
shoot
has
her
a
arm off. And
shotgun. Yeah, shoots off her arm with a shotgun.
yeah, and then she just dies. And then you have Eric. He dies from a ton of different wounds, like a ton, just different stuff. And then the one that I hate that died was David. I was like, wait,
Yeah,
David? I thought it. Listen. This movie has a really cool ending where David is trying to redeem himself for not being there for his sister for all those years when she was going through drug addiction. And like he was told in this movie, your sister was legally dead several
yeah.
times from drug addiction. And I know how that feels,
I
believe me.
knew that had to come back to play at the end, and I really didn't get when he started putting things together at the end. I didn't get it. I didn't. It didn't dawn on me until they pulled the battery out, and I was like,
Right.
"Oh, that's what he's gonna do."
Yeah. Because I told you my sister was a drug addict, and she died several times, but got brought back to life. So I knew
Wow.
how that felt, and I listened to all that, and but yeah, he had a plan where, well, she could die, but I could bring her back to life just like she was before. So there's three ways that you can kill a deadite. That's what they call these. They're not in this movie, but they're called deadites. And you can bury them, you can burn them alive, or you can dismember them. And so he said, well, I can bury her alive and try to resuscitate her back. He builds a defibrillator out of needles and a battery, which was really cool. I like that a lot.
I love the use of duct tape in this movie too, because they like duct tape a girl's arm back together.
Oh, they use duct tape for everything.
They use duct tape. Yeah, I mean, it really shocks me they're from Michigan and not the true deep South. I mean, using duct tape like that, but
yeah. So he buries her. She's like talking to him like you weren't here for. I mean, the demon is, and then he kills her. She brings back to life, and he stabs her with a stang. And he's like working it, trying to get it to shock her, and then he's like, "Oh, it didn't work." So, and then all of a sudden he turns around and she's just standing there, and it did work. The demon's gone out of her because she died, and it was really cool. And then it sucks because he walks inside. And everybody's cool. He's gonna grab his keys, and all of a sudden, Eric is a freaking deadite and stabs him in the neck.
yeah.
And then he blows up the place because he put gasoline everywhere. So, I do want to read one thing. When Eric was reading the book, he said, "There's a demon in this book that, and this is the thing that was in the book that he read. And it says, once he feasts on 5 souls." The sky will bleed again, and the abomination will rise from hell. And that's what it's all about. He needs 5 souls, this abomination. And it does rain blood in this movie, and it's really cool.
Right.
And the demon, though, is underwhelming, in my opinion, because it's just like some skinny dude. It's like a skinny guy with long hair. It's kind of underwhelming. Because in the picture, it showed an all-black figure with like this kind of big head with like fire coming out of his head. But it didn't look like that at all. But the other thing I want to mention real quick is they do bring the chainsaw in this, which was really big in the original movies, along with the double barrel shotgun. And Mia does use it. And she does put it on her hand that she had to rip off because it was trapped underneath the thing. And when she saws this demon, it is a blood fest, and it's awesome.
And it's raining blood at the same time.
And it's raining blood, like you said. And she takes a saw right down the middle of its head, and this blood's just shooting everywhere. And it's amazing, Mike.
I was so ready for a Slayer song to kick on in the background. Like they got a song called "Raining Blood."
Yeah, they do.
I was ready for that Slayer song to kick in whenever they did that. Yeah, that was pretty gory, pretty gross, pretty graphic.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite kill, though, Josh?
Oh, I think that end demon kill with the chainsaw is my favorite.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. It's hard to beat that one. I'm gonna say one that it just got me. I don't know why, and it was more the effect afterwards because they didn't show it when he was actually doing it. But when the teacher took that porcelain sink and the demon possessed girl was coming towards him,
Olivia,
and he started started pounding her head with the porcelain sink. Then the door opens up and a couple of people come in. They show her body looking down and like her head is just splattered out.
yeah, it
I
was
guess
pretty
just
gruesome.
the thought of that, and he just was over and over again pounding her head with that porcelain sink. But yeah, the very final scene with the demon was pretty wild.
It was
Also,
epic.
when it was pretty gross when she pulled her hand off intentionally. It was stuck underneath a car, and
Yeah.
then she started just pulling, and finally just ripped her hand
Well,
off.
in the original, Ash lost a hand.
Yep.
And he put the chainsaw there as a chainsaw hand, and that's what they kind of alluded to in this at the end.
Yep. Yep.
So
what is your overall what on a scale of 1 to 5, you want to do what, chainsaws? I don't know.
yeah, chainsaw. So for me, it has some nostalgia. It has some deeper meaning for me. It hits home with me in certain aspects of the movie. And I like the blood. I like the kills. I'm willing to overlook some of the acting. I'm giving it a 3.5, Mike. In my opinion, I liked it.
Okay, that's a little higher what I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it 3. I always say 3's average for me. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Okay.
Which is kind of in line with what most people said. If they gave it a 64, 6.4 out of 10, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5, which is really 6. So yeah, I thought just a little bit better maybe on the story at the beginning, a little more character development maybe.
Sure.
But the blood, if I was scoring this just off gore and blood and effects and spookiness and all that, I'd have gave it probably 4.5 because it was really good.
Yep, it was.
All right. See you guys later. Josh, tell us how you can find us. I think it's actually right there below.
Yeah.
But tell them how they can find us.
Yeah. Of course, subscribe and like this channel. Also, come over to Must See Before You Die Horror Community on Facebook and join over there. And also, go see Evil Dead Rises. Go see that.
Yep, comes out end of April, toward middle to end of April. Definitely go see that.
And let us know what you think of this movie.
That's right. See this one as well. And tell your comments below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you like the original better? The original's got a big cult following.
Right.
Which one you like better, the original or this one?
Yeah.
All right, bye.
See you guys.